Welcome to AnzenGuard Podcast, where we break down complex cybersecurity topics into stuff you can actually use.
I like that.
I'm Michael Reynolds.
I'm Laura Wilson.
Today, we are diving deep into virus signatures.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone's heard that phrase.
Right.
But what's the real deal? You've sent us some great material on this, and we're really excited to unpack it.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So at a basic level, a virus signature is like a fingerprint for a piece of malware. It's a specific pattern in the code that antivirus software can use to identify and block it.
Okay, so it's like a digital wanted poster, I guess.
Exactly.
So, if your antivirus sees that specific code, it knows this program is bad.
Right, and all these signatures are stored in a huge database.
Oh, wow.
That's constantly being updated by cybersecurity pros who are, on the front lines fighting this malware.
So when your antivirus does a scan, it's basically comparing all the files on your computer to this giant library of known bad guys.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing system when you think about it.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to manually go through every single file for suspicious code. Yeah, so virus signatures allow antivirus software to do this automatically.
That makes a lot of sense. But here's a question I've always had.
Okay.
What happens when a brand new virus comes out?
Yeah.
One that's never been seen before. Wouldn't it just slip through the cracks?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because there's no signature for it yet.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Antivirus programs actually use what's called heuristic analysis to detect suspicious behavior, even if they don't have a matching signature for it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like profiling a potential criminal
Right.
based on their actions rather than relying on just a mugshot.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So if a program is acting shady, trying to access your data
Right.
or changing your system files,
Yeah, the antivirus will flag it.
even if it doesn't have a matching signature.
Exact. So it's looking for patterns of behavior that are typical of malware. Things like rapid replication, attempts to hide itself, communication with known malicious servers.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sixth sense for your antivirus,
Yeah.
helping it stay ahead of the bad guys.
That's so cool. All right, so that makes sense for brand new viruses.
Right.
But what about those super sneaky ones that can change their code to avoid detection?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard about those polymorphic viruses, and they sound terrifying.
They can be.
Yeah.
Imagine a virus that can modify its own code while still maintaining its core functionality.
Whoa.
It's like a chameleon changing its skin color to blend in, right?
Right.
That's essentially what a polymorphic virus does, making it much harder to detect with, just traditional signature-based methods.
Yeah, so if the virus keeps changing its code,
Right.
wouldn't that make it basically impossible to create a reliable signature?
It definitely makes it more challenging. But remember, even though the code is changing, the underlying function of the virus usually stays the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and security researchers are clever.
I bet.
They've developed techniques to identify these core functions and create signatures that can detect even polymorphic viruses.
Oh, wow, that's reassuring.
Yeah, so it really is a constant game of cat and mouse between the cybersecurity experts and the malware developers.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But thankfully, the good guys usually have the upper hand.
Okay.
They're constantly analyzing new threats, developing new techniques, and updating those signature databases to keep our computers safe.
So it's like having this team of digital detectives
Yes.
working around the clock to protect us.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And they're doing some pretty amazing work.
Yeah,
The whole process of creating a virus signature, it's
Yeah.
really fascinating.
Tell me more about this digital forensics lab.
Okay, so it starts with getting a sample of the virus, which is done very carefully, obviously, to prevent any spread.
Right.
But once they have the virus safely isolated, they can start analyzing its code,
Wow.
really dissecting it to understand how it works and what makes it unique.
So like a digital autopsy,
That's a great way to put it.
trying to uncover its secrets.
Yeah, they're looking for those telltale signs,
Mm-hmm.
these unique snippets of code that give away the virus's identity.
Makes sense.
Once they've identified these patterns,
Yeah.
they can create a signature that can be added to the antivirus database.
Oh, wow.
And distributed to millions of computers.
So every time our antivirus software updates, we're basically getting the latest intel on the bad guys.
Exactly.
That's awesome. It's like getting a new edition of the most wanted list.
Yes.
All right, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Now, speaking of intel, what about hash values?
Yeah.
I know they're used in cybersecurity too, but how are they different from, virus signatures?
So hash values are another tool that we use. Think of it as like a digital checksum, like a unique code generated from a file's contents. It's a really quick and efficient way to check if a file is identical to a known bad file.
So it's like a quick fingerprint scan.
Exactly.
If it matches, you know you have a problem.
Right. It's not as precise as like a full signature analysis, but it's really fast.
Okay.
And it can be used to quickly screen files.
Okay, so we've got virus signatures, heuristic analysis, and hash values all working together to keep us safe.
Yeah, it's like a multi-layered defense system.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that virus signatures are just one piece of the puzzle.
So even with the best antivirus software,
Right.
we can't just assume we're totally protected.
Exactly.
We still need to be smart about what we do online.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like you wouldn't leave your front door unlocked just because you have a security system.
Right, exactly.
You'd still do basic stuff like lock your doors and windows. So even with great antivirus, we still need to be mindful of things like passwords, being careful about what we click on, and, keeping our software updated.
Yeah, it's about creating those multiple layers of protection,
Right.
making it difficult as possible for cyber criminals to get our data.
It's like building a fortress around your digital life.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's really where the human element comes in.
Oh, yeah?
Technology can only take us so far. We need to be aware,
Right.
think critically, make smart choices online.
So it's not just about having the latest software.
Right.
It's about using it wisely and being mindful.
Absolutely. Antivirus is powerful, but it's only as effective as the person using it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like having a state-of-the-art security system,
Yeah.
but leaving the front door wide open.
Right. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility then.
Exactly. The software developers are creating these robust defenses,
Yeah.
but we as users have a responsibility to use those tools effectively and make smart decisions.
And part of making those smart decisions is understanding the limitations of our tools, right? Talk about how polymorphic viruses can change their code to avoid detection.
Exactly.
And even with heuristics,
Right.
there's always the possibility of a false positive.
Yeah, or a new threat
Right.
slips through.
So no security system is perfect.
Exactly.
There will always be new threats.
Right. New vulnerabilities, new challenges.
So even in cybersecurity, there's no such thing as like setting it and forgetting it.
Exactly. It's an ongoing process, a
Yeah.
constant cycle of learning and adapting and improving.
That's what makes it so interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
So before, we move on,
Yeah.
we were talking about the future of virus detection. And you raised this really interesting question about the role of AI.
Yeah.
Will signature still be relevant as malware gets more sophisticated?
Right. That's on a lot of cybersecurity experts' minds these days.
Yeah, it's a good question.
AI is already playing such a big role
Yeah.
in threat detection and incident response.
Yeah.
And it's only going to become more prevalent.
So how do you think AI will impact virus signatures?
Well,
Will it make them obsolete?
it's hard to say for sure,
Right.
but it definitely has the potential to revolutionize how we detect and prevent malware.
Yeah.
Machine learning algorithms can analyze huge amounts of data,
Right.
identify patterns,
Yeah.
and learn to recognize malicious behavior in ways that, we can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So instead of relying on these fingerprints,
Right.
AI could detect malware based on its behavior, maybe its communication patterns.
Yeah.
Or even just anomalies in system activity.
Exactly, even before it has a chance to execute,
Wow.
based on its characteristics.
That's wild.
Yeah, a whole new level of proactive defense.
That sounds really powerful, but it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
What about false positives? Could AI get too sensitive and start flagging legitimate programs?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Like any technology, AI has its limitations.
Right.
It's really important that these systems are carefully trained, tested, to make sure they're accurate and reliable.
That's true.
And we also need to be mindful of the ethical implications of giving machines so much control over our digital lives.
It's a really complex issue.
It is.
And it's definitely something we need to be talking about
Absolutely.
as AI gets more integrated into our lives.
Yeah, the future of cybersecurity is being shaped by AI. And it's important to understand both its potential and its challenges.
Well said.
And that's why we're here
That's right.
on the AnzenGuard Podcast.
To help explore these issues
Exactly.
so you can navigate the world of cybersecurity.
Yes.
Great.
So
So go ahead.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
as we kind of wrap up this first part of our deep dive into virus signatures, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay.
As technology keeps evolving,
Yeah.
how do we stay ahead of the curve and make sure our digital lives are safe and secure?
That's a great question.
Yeah, something to think about.
Both individually and as a society.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that cybersecurity is this ongoing journey. It's a constant process.
A constant learning process.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
We are. We're all part of this digital ecosystem.
Right.
And it's up to all of us to do our part to keep it safe.
Well said. Thanks for joining us
Yeah.
on this exploration of virus signatures.
We hope you found it informative.
And engaging.
We're going to take a quick break.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
With more on virus signatures.
Right here on the AnzenGuard Podcast.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Welcome back to the AnzenGuard Podcast.
It's been a great deep dive so far.
It has been...
I feel like I'm finally starting to really get how this all works.
That's what we like to hear.
Before the break, we were talking about how virus signatures get created.
Yeah, it's a pretty complex process.
Yeah.
But it's so important for keeping our computers safe.
That digital forensics analogy you used really got me thinking.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty mind-blowing that there are these teams of experts working nonstop to, analyze all this malware.
Right, creating those digital fingerprints.
Like a digital detective squad.
Exactly, fighting the bad guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you know what this all means.
What's that?
It's super important to keep your antivirus software updated.
Oh, right, yeah.
Those updates are like, delivering those fingerprints right to your computer.
Makes sense.
With each update, your antivirus is getting smarter,
Okay.
capable of fighting off those threats.
It really is an arms race.
It is.
With the bad guys coming up with new malware and the good guys trying to stay ahead.
Absolutely.
And we're kind of caught in the middle.
Right, trying to stay safe.
Exactly.
Which is why we need to be so proactive.
About cybersecurity.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not enough to just have the software.
Yeah.
We need to understand the risks and take steps to protect ourselves.
Multi-layered defense, right.
That's it.
Strong passwords, being careful about links.
Yep.
Keeping software updated, backing up data.
That's right. All part of a strong security posture.
Building that fortress around our digital lives.
Exactly. Making it as hard as possible for the bad guys to get in.
Yeah, like that.
And that's really where the human element comes in.
Okay.
Technology can only take us so far,
Yeah.
We need to be aware,
Right.
think critically, make smart choices when we're online.
So it's really about more than just having the latest antivirus.
Right. It's about using it wisely.
And being mindful.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Antivirus is powerful.
Yeah.
But it can only be as effective as the person using it.
Right. That's a great point.
It's kind of like having that state-of-the-art security system,
Uh-huh.
but leaving your front door wide open.
Makes sense. So cybersecurity is a shared responsibility.
It is, absolutely.
The software developers are doing their part.
You're
But we have to do ours too.
exactly using the tools effectively.
Right. Making good decisions.
And a big part of making good decisions is knowing the limitations of our tools.
Yeah.
Like we talked about with polymorphic viruses.
Right.
They can change their code to avoid detection.
And even with heuristics, you could still have a false positive.
Right. Or a new threat slipping through.
So no system is perfect.
That's right. There will always be new challenges.
Even in cybersecurity.
Exactly.
No such thing as setting it and forgetting it.
No, it's an ongoing process.
Constant learning.
Right.
Adapting.
Yeah. And improving.
Which I guess is what makes it so interesting.
Definitely. Always something new to learn.
Before the break, we were talking about the future of virus detection.
Yeah.
And how AI might change things.
Right. Will signatures still be relevant?
Exactly.
That's a really big question.
Yeah. And it seems like AI is already so important.
It is.
For threat detection and incident response.
Right. And it's only going to become more important.
So how do you think AI will impact these virus signatures?
Well,
Could it make them obsolete?
it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But AI could change how we detect and prevent malware.
Really?
Yeah, because think about it.
Okay.
Machine learning algorithms can analyze massive amounts of data
Right.
and identify patterns,
Yeah.
learn to recognize bad behavior.
In ways that we can't.
Exactly.
Wow.
So maybe we won't need those static fingerprints anymore. AI could detect malware based on its behavior,
Oh, interesting.
how it communicates, maybe even just subtle anomalies in the system.
Detect it before it even does anything.
That's right, proactive defense.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
But what about false positives?
That's a good question.
Could AI be too sensitive?
Yeah, it's a valid concern.
What if it flags legitimate programs?
Right, like any technology, AI has limitations.
Right.
It's so important that these systems are trained and tested thoroughly
To be accurate.
and reliable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's the ethical side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Giving machines this much control over our digital lives.
That's a whole other discussion.
It is a complex issue.
Definitely something we need to keep talking about.
Absolutely, as AI gets more and more integrated.
Yeah, it feels like the future of cybersecurity is really being shaped by AI.
I think so. It's essential that we understand its potential.
Yeah.
And also the challenges.
That's why we're here on the AnzenGuard podcast.
To explore these issues and help you navigate this world.
Right. The world of cybersecurity. It's constantly evolving.
It is always something new.
Well said.
And that brings us to an interesting thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
As we wrap up this deep dive on virus signatures, how do we stay ahead of the curve?
How do we stay safe?
Exactly. As technology keeps changing so fast. That's a good question.
It is. Something to think about.
Both for ourselves and for society as a whole.
That's right.
It's a good reminder that cybersecurity is an ongoing process.
It is. Constant learning, adapting.
Right. And we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
We're all part of this digital world.
And it's our responsibility to keep it safe.
That's a great point.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into virus signatures.
It's been great.
We hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, very informative.
Definitely a lot to think about.
Absolutely. As we wrap up our deep dive on virus signatures, it's important to remember cybersecurity isn't just about the tech,
It's about people.
Yeah, it's about understanding the risks and,
making informed decisions.
Right, taking responsibility for our own safety online.
Absolutely.
We can have the best antivirus software in the world.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if we're clicking on every bad link or using, the same password everywhere...
Right.
We're still in trouble. It's like, having a security system, but leaving your front door wide open.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to be smart online.
So what are some things our listeners can do, like practical steps?
Okay, well, number one,
right.
Keep your software updated.
Right.
Those updates often include security patches, that can protect you from vulnerabilities.
So no more ignoring those little notifications.
Yeah, no more ignoring them.
Okay.
They're annoying, but they're there for a reason.
All right. What else?
Strong passwords for all your accounts.
Ugh. I know. It's so tempting to use the same one.
I know.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. It's like using the same key for everything.
Oh, yeah. Your house, your car.
Your office, everything.
If someone gets that key, they get everything.
Exactly.
That's a good way to think about it.
And be careful about those phishing emails.
Yeah, those are everywhere.
And those links, Just be skeptical.
Okay.
Think before you click.
Don't just click on anything.
Exactly. Don't open attachments from people you don't know.
Right.
And watch out for emails that are trying to rush you. That sense of urgency.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually a bad sign.
If it sounds too good to be true,
it probably is.
No Nigerian princes giving away millions.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So basically...
common sense.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
If something seems off...
it probably is.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay informed, stay vigilant, and...
stay skeptical.
Yeah, those are some great takeaways.
I think so.
From our deep dive into virus signatures.
It's been a good one.
Cybersecurity is an ongoing journey.
It is. Always learning and adapting.
Yeah, like a marathon.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone.
Well, we hope you learned a lot.
Yeah, we're passionate about this stuff.
We are.
And we want to help you stay safe online.
That's right. If you enjoyed this episode,
make sure to subscribe to the AnzenGuard Podcast.
We have a lot more deep dives coming up.
Don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode.
Yeah, spread the word.
Together, we can make the digital world a safer place.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant,
and stay safe.
See you next time.
I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Laura Wilson.
And this has been the AnzenGuard Podcast.